All right, hello everybody and welcome back into the gardens for another, well, typical sort of windy Westman Sunday. I don't know what it is with Sundays and wind out here, but I have got to get myself a couple of wind turbines because I think I'm missing out on an opportunity here. Anyway, I hope the mic is helping with all of this. I thought today we'd kind of look around at a few of the things that have been going on in the gardens this last week and talk about a couple of things that I'm tossing around for activities for the week to come. Really, I'd love to get some feedback on those things. I noticed that there are basically two types of gardeners who watch my channel. There are those who are watching hoping to learn something, and I really do apologize to you guys because I learn by mistakes and I share mostly mistakes on my channel, so there's that. And then there are those who seem to watch and have a lot more experience and give me gentle guidance along the way, and Lord knows I certainly appreciate that because, as I said before, that's pretty much the only reason I've had any success is following the wonderful advice y'all have given me over the years. So yeah, anyway, we'll take a look at what's been going on and kind of what I've got planned. Can't really plant anything yet because, yeah, June 1st is really when we do have to get started. Literally, I woke up yesterday to snow, but it's May, so it's all melted, well, mostly melted now. And yeah, we're good to go to show you what's growing on. So let's get going. Now, I do apologize because with the glare, I'm having just one heck of a time seeing the viewfinder on the camera. So I hope you're looking at that hugel swale that we built a few years ago. It's sunken down kind of into the twigs a little bit, and we do have some green popping up in there, which is, well, the chickens are loving it because I come by and I grab a few dandelions here, a little clump of grass there, and, you know, basically whatever pulls out freely, toss it into them, and they're already starting to get those fresh greens, which is the best part of weeding these days, like giving it to the chickens. Much faster method of composting. Anyway, along the back this year, I've decided to use those kind of two bits of fencing that I found and we used for those, I want to say scarlet runner beans, but they had a fancier name, painted lady beans, painted lady pole beans, something like that. They're still kind of hanging on there. I was pleasantly surprised when I went at a few of those leftover pods to discover that there were some good and possibly plantable beans in them. So I may plant those, but it's not going to be here. I'm kind of thinking I've got 3 different variety of like string beans, but I think those are all bush beans, so those don't need a trellis if I'm correct. You know, let me know if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I've got 2 different types of peas. I've got Lincoln peas, so your hard shell kind of freeze 'em pea, and I've got some spring peas, so your edible pod type peas. I'm thinking maybe one of those on, well, a few of those on either fence bit, and maybe something in the middle. So lots of things that claim to grow well with peas. Seem to be quite a few choices available to me there. Kind of using a book called Carrots Love Tomatoes as my reference point this year for most of my companion gardening stuff, so I'll find something to put along the front of this garden as well. But before I plant anything into it, I am probably going to top it up with some of that especially enriched sawdust the ladies are giving us. Still plenty of it to clean out of the coop, so I've got lots of places that I can throw that down as we get growing with the season. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on here. Dug those out, pretty excited about that. We'll see what actually comes of it, but I think it'll look nice. We get a bit of a wall of green along the back there. Shot of the tripod, but in theory, yeah, it should look nice, so we'll just have to see. One thing that has always amazed me about these gardens we have here is these perennial onions, walking onions, Egyptian onions. They have lots of different names, but they start up so early in the season. It's absolutely wonderful. And the fact that they can somehow push their way through all of this dead grass, like you can see them in there, pushing their way up, just amazes me. But I'm wondering if it's really what's best for them. And again, with the chicken enhanced sawdust, I'm kind of thinking what I should do this year, I don't know how loud that is on the mic, hopefully it's not too bad, is I should kind of dig them out and then maybe use that like a mulch around them to suppress the grass growth. And hopefully I'll be able to, well, obviously see the onions would be nice, because trying to stay on top of this it's kind of a pain with everything else going on, to be honest. But they are wonderful little onions, and yeah, I would like them to do better, and it would be nice to actually be able to see them and let them get proper sunshine. So again, that's one of those points I would love some feedback. Should I clean these up, use that as a mulch around them, and create sort of a cleaner looking garden, or should I just let whatever grows grow so that I've got diversity in my garden? Yeah, interesting. Some of these larger things definitely got to go though. Random bushes that have started, I'm not cool with that. That's definitely going to take way too much of the sunshine that I'm trying to get on these things, because these produce those little tiny onions on the top, where most onions produce flowers and then seeds, which is really pretty. They look kind of like fireworks. These produce little tiny onions, and you can just bake those up as they are, or you can pickle them, and they're so good. And unfortunately, when we first moved here, I was digging these up for the onion bulbs, and we were eating those. Not as impressive when you dig the ones out of the ground as when you just eat the little ones on top. So yes, I'd really like to focus a little bit of attention on this year, improve the overall patch, because I have no idea how many years it was here before we got here, but we've been here like 5 now, and it's still, with all this neglect, it's still growing. So I can only imagine with a little love and attention, it would do better. Yeah, so that's going to be kind of one of my projects this year. So one thing I've been doing this week is I finally got that new gas, well, new to me, but rebuilt gas chainsaw out. I didn't get any video of that because reviewing comments, my chainsaw work seems to make people really, really nervous. But anyway, we took down 2 of the monster trees that were along the back here. And that is just delightful. That's going to free up a lot of sunlight in the back area. Now, mostly that's in the wintertime, spring and fall too, but mostly in the wintertime. And then these trees here, I'm going to start working on them pretty soon, but they make a huge difference to the garden potential of this patch right here, which looks well lit, but that's because it's afternoon. All morning, those things just keep this in shade. Had that tomato grove going for a while here. It did all right, but let's face it, it could have done better. And without those moisture robbing trees right there, sunlight hiding monsters. I mean, they're beautiful, but yeah, not the most helpful thing to have around. Good to have a little fun playing with that chainsaw though, and we're going to be giving firewood to I think 3 different people out of this adventure, so that's always good too. Cleaning up the yard, still sharing with the neighborhood. Gotta love it. Oh, this tree was a horror story. I'll have to ask Ashok where she posted it. I think it went up on TikTok. So if you really want to check out how it was coming down, the very end of it is kind of there. But yeah, not my finest moment. Still haven't cleaned up the remains of last year's garden. Probably going to be doing that in the coming weeks. Well, in the coming week, actually. I want to have it ready before the 1st of June, which is ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, want to have it ready. And I do want to try a few different varieties of companion planting this year. I do want to get out more of that chicken improved wood chips. Here's what it looks like after some snow and a couple of different rains. So we'll see how that works to grow in. I mean, obviously it hasn't had enough time to really break down or much of anything, but I'm kind of counting on it mostly as a mulch layer in this first year, because roots will go down and they will find what they need. It's a fairly healthy soil that we've got going on there. I don't exactly put a lot of chemicals on it, so it should be fairly healthy as far as soil biology. I certainly allow the diversity in there with the way I plant my assorted crops, and I let the unintentionals grow, aka weeds. Quite a few of them popping up here in the remains of the corn patch, so the chickens will love it when I clean this up. Probably going to let them just have their way with these corn stalks. They may not like them, they may like them, I don't know, but either way they're going to rip them up a little bit, help them break down a little bit faster. Oh, this week I gotta get to this bunker garden too. I do love this weird little bunker garden, but It does take a little bit of maintenance in the spring because ultimately it was just chunks of sod piled up together that have kind of fallen in a little bit, and it grows a lot of grass all on its own. But again, the chickens love it. I just pull it out and toss it into them and top it up with some soil from the garden, plant whatever. Again, this one's going to be kind of a variety of companion gardening, medium spacing. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Weird garden season this year. Still, as always, a little bit hopeful. Ignorantly hopeful, I like to call it, I guess. And I guess today we will finish up with the potato pile. I haven't turned it in a couple of days. We had a fire over the weekend, so got some ash. Got a little more charcoal in that ash than I was kind of planning, but I guess it's in there now. So, yes, I'll turn that later on today and a few more times, I'm sure. As has been pointed out to me, it will not be anything approaching or ready to plant in, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's just, well, it's just how I do things. So, yeah. All right, everybody. Hope we all have a fantastic week ahead of us. And as always, I'll be back again next Sunday as we're a little bit closer to an actual garden season. And maybe my garden looks like, you know, something I should be making videos of instead of, I don't know, dead pile of weeds. But there is a plan behind it all, or there was last year. We'll see how it goes this year. Much love, everybody. Take care, and I will talk to you next week.